There is a moment in everyone's life that changes everything. But when it happens, you don't realize it. You don't feel a shock or a sign or a voice telling you what's coming. It begins quietly, softly, in a place inside you that you don't visit very often. Some people call it intuition. Some call it destiny. But the truth is much simpler. It starts with a thought. And today, I want to tell you a story. Not about someone else, but about you. About the version of you that existed long before this moment. And the version of you that's being built right now in this exact second. Imagine a morning. Not special, not dramatic. Just another morning, like the thousands before it. You wake up. You sit on the edge of your bed. You look at the floor for a second longer than usual. And you don't even realize that the first crack appears right there. A tiny thought slips through your mind. I can't keep living like this. It's quiet, barely noticeable, almost insignificant. You shake it off. You get ready. You follow the same routine. You convince yourself everything is normal. But that thought, that small, almost invisible thought, stays alive. It does not disappear. It begins to echo in places you cannot see. Days pass, weeks pass. Nothing on the outside changes, but inside. Inside, everything is moving. That tiny thought starts to shape the way you look at your life. It pulls you away from what drains you and pushes you towards something you can't define yet. You don't even notice that you're waking up with a different energy. You don't notice that your mind is rejecting things it once accepted. You only feel one thing, a quiet discomfort, a feeling that what surrounds you is no longer yours. This is the moment most people get scared. They think something is wrong, but nothing is wrong. This is the first sign of alignment. This is your mind preparing you for a shift you don't even know you asked for. One day, for no clear reason, you pause. Maybe sitting in your car, maybe walking home, maybe looking out of a bus window, maybe staring at a wall as your mind drifts away. And suddenly, a question rises from somewhere deep within you. What am I doing with my life? You don't have an answer, not yet. But the moment you ask that question, a door opens. The shift has already begun. Not because you made a plan, not because you wrote goals, not because you changed anything physically, but because your mind finally admitted the truth. You want more, and that admission alone is enough to rewrite the path of your future. Here is the part that feels like coincidence. But it never is. Suddenly things begin to happen around you. You receive a message, a call, an opportunity, a sign, a disruption, a moment of clarity, something small, but different. Most people think, wow, what are the odds? But they forget the most important thing. Reality responds to your inner world, always, but with a delay. By the time you notice something changing on the outside, the change inside you is already complete. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the roots forming, but they form anyway. Silently, powerfully, unstoppably. There comes a night. A very ordinary night. You lie in your bed staring at the ceiling, and a strange calmness fills you. You don't know how you know, but you know. Something in my life is about to change. You feel it before it happens. You sense it before you see it. And then you make a decision. It might be a small decision to try something new, to walk away from something old, to send a message, to take a step. Or a big decision to quit, to move, to start again, to choose yourself. But here's the truth most people never understand. You don't make the decision. The decision makes you. It reaches you after months of inner movement, after thoughts you ignored, after emotions you tried to silence. Your mind doesn't ask permission. It delivers you to the next version of yourself. And then one day, it happens. A moment that looks random, small, normal, forgettable even. A message, a call, a conversation, a realization, an opportunity, a crossroads, a door. And something in you says, this is it. You don't know why, you don't know how. You don't know what will come next, but your entire being recognizes it, because your mind created this moment long before it appeared, long before you were ready, long before you understood it. This was the moment your thoughts had been pulling you toward. This was the first ripple of the change you asked for silently. Life does not change when you take action. Life changes long before that. It changes the day you whisper a thought that you are too afraid to say out loud. It changes the moment you stop lying to yourself about the life you no longer want. It changes the first time you imagine a version of you that feels impossible. And every thought after that strengthens the direction, sharpens the path, and builds the future that you will eventually step into. By the time your life looks different, your mind has already lived the change. So if you feel something shifting inside you lately, if you feel restless, disconnected, unsatisfied, or strangely hopeful, if you feel like you're standing at the edge of a life you haven't met yet, you are not lost. You are not late. You are not confused. You are transforming. And the thought that started it all, the thought you barely noticed, that was the moment your life changed. You just didn't know it yet.